Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hey, how would you like to be able to build trust faster with your niche, with your prospects, with your shipping prospects, as well as get more sales leads? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you four tips on how to do that, how to build trust faster and generate more leads. So stick around. This is my weekly Monday live. Thank you so much. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dennis Brown. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. I've been very blessed, built three multi-million dollar companies four different multi-million dollar companies in four different industries, which is actually kind of cool. But ultimately, started a freight brokerage, grew it, did over $200 million in sales as a freight broker. And I'm also the owner of freightbrokerbootcamp.com, which is the most cost-effective and comprehensive online freight broker and freight agent training program available online. You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Thank you so much for joining me. Truly appreciate it. We got a lot to go over. Here's the notes for today's training. We are going to go over that. So here's the agenda is a bunch of people are getting live here. We're going to do the training. Then we're going to do a giveaway. Then we're going to go into live Q&A. So if you stick around to the end, you're going to be able to ask me questions live. And I will do my absolute best to try to get to everybody's question and try to answer it to the best of my ability. If I don't have the answer, which sometimes I don't, I will direct you somewhere or try to point you in the right direction to help you move forward on your journey. Okay. So again, these are free live trainings that I do every Monday at noon. My suggestion to you is to put it in your calendar, put a reminder in your iPhone or your Android phone. And at 11:45 a.m. Eastern time, you should remind yourself that there is a Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Jump on. You'll get an email, or you'll be able to join through some of my social channels or YouTube if you connect on or subscribe on YouTube. So yeah, I stream it on all those channels. I hope you guys are excited. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's do a few shout outs. Hit me up in the city. Hit me up in the comments with the city and state you guys are logging in from. I'm in the Buffalo, New York area. So let's do a few shout outs and then we will get the ball on the road. All right. So we got Cynthia Moore from Maryland. We got Jack Nine from Cary, North Carolina. Holistic Logistics from Kennesaw, Georgia. We got Kat Moody from Orange County, California. Kat, I got it right, Kat. We got Rico Brown from Greenville, South Carolina. Welcome, my friend. Ever popular Rico Brown from one of the Freight Broker success interviews. He's doing an amazing job. Jomo Mighty from Florida. Welcome. Noah Edmond. You got the shirt. Awesome. I love it. Send me a picture. You wearing it. I'd love to see it. We've got Michelle Bolbridge from Topeka, Kansas. We got Michael 46 from Orlando, Florida. We got Igor from Chicagoland. We have Jorge Sao from Canton, Georgia. We got Keith Crane from Utica, New York. We got Noah, who got the shirt from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Christina Lazarovska. I hope I didn't murder that, but I'm sorry. She's from New Jersey. Maria McCarthy from Gillette, Wisconsin. Brian Owens from Houston, Texas. We've got Derek Rice from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We got Peter DeBacari from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome. Desandra from Walton, Kentucky. We got Devin from Markham, Illinois. And we got Mohammed Mohsin Sheikh from Toronto, Ontario, another very well-known Freight Broker Bootcamp success story. You can check out those success stories on my playlist on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you can see student success stories, and we've had a lot of interviews with past students, including Mohsin Sheikh, including Lita Hakabayan, including Mike Burke, including, Rico Brown, all kinds of people. So you guys can check those out. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for the shout out. I'm going to share with you four freight broker marketing tips. They're going to help you build trust faster with your prospects and generate more leads. Okay. So that's what we're going to cover today. And then we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to do a really quick giveaway. Then we're going to do live Q&A. So hang tight. Let me grab a quick drink, and then we will get the show on the road. All right. So I don't have my Freightpreneur t-shirt on today. So we're probably not going to give away a Freightpreneur t-shirt. Maybe we'll give away some cash. So it is what it is. I just grabbed this out of the rack and I just threw it on. So that's the advice for today. It is what it is. Don't try to make it something it's not. You gotta Play with the cards you're dealt. Okay. So where are we at here? What are we on time? Okay, good. All right, cool. So these are the notes from today. And I'm going to go over these fairly quick. And then again, we're going to do and then we're going to do some Q&A at the end. Okay. So hang tight. But before we get started, if you guys appreciate these weekly trainings that I do for absolutely free, okay? I don't charge. There was no credit card in order to enroll in these, free live trainings on Mondays. Hit me up in the comments. Make sure that you like the stream wherever you're watching it, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, and then share the stream. Share it. Let other people know about it, right? I've helped thousands and thousands of people to become freight brokers and freight agents over the years. And I hope you're next. But there's a big market out there. There's a huge market out there. So don't live in scarcity mindset. Make sure you share the stream. Let other people know about it. I truly appreciate it. And I always get notified who shares the stream. Okay. So I know who you are. I know all of you that are sharing the stream and engaging. So do your best to share the stream. Let everybody know. Truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button right now as we get started. Okay. So how would you like to be able to build trust faster with your prospects and generate more leads? Well, I think every business owner, freight brokers and freight agents included, would love to have that, right? So today I'm going to share with you 4 freight broker marketing tips to help you build trust faster and get more leads, okay? So first, I want you to understand there is a difference between freight broker sales and freight broker marketing. They are different. You need to understand that. Marketing is letting people know, creating awareness that your company and service and brand exist. Okay? And sales is the process of, it's the conversation that you have with the prospect, usually one-on-one in the B2B environment, where you are answering their questions, educating them on how you can help them, providing pricing, and ultimately delivering on that service. Okay. So there is a difference between freight broker sales and marketing. I do a lot of training on freight broker sales. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. There's an entire playlist where you can check that out. But today we're going to talk about marketing. And this is something that a lot of freight brokers don't understand, and therefore they don't do. And so that's why I wanted to share this with you today. I'm going to share with you 4 tips. These are things that anybody can do. So you don't need to be a marketing guru. You don't need to be a digital marketing genius. Trust me, when I first started, I wasn't any of those things. All right. So I'm going to share with you 4 things. Number 1, as a freight broker startup, you have to set up your freight broker website. Now, I'm not saying you got to go out and spend $5,000 setting up a website. I'm not even saying you got to go out and spend $2,000 setting up your website. The fact is, you can set up a website that builds trust and starts to build your brand for hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, if you do it properly. So setting up your website is really important for a couple of reasons. Number 1, when you reach out to prospects and do sales efforts, one of the things they're going to do is do due diligence on you, and they're going to search Google for your company. And if your website doesn't exist, that is a huge red flag to your prospects. So having a website will reinforce and build trust in your sales process. Secondly, as having a website, you have an opportunity to be found on Google. For example, if somebody was searching for flatbed service in Buffalo, New York, and my website was SEO optimized, search engine optimization optimized for that term, flatbeds in Buffalo, New York, my company has a high likelihood of coming up in those results. So having a website builds instant credibility. Not having a website is a huge red flag and will do the exact opposite and will basically derail all of your sales and marketing efforts. Okay. So number 1, have a website. Now, I did do a training, and we'll make sure we include, the thumbnail or a link here where you guys can do it, where I talk about how to set up your website very fast for under $50. And that's part of the channel. So you guys can check that out in detail. And I share all the details there. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, set up your personal and your business LinkedIn profile. Okay, so LinkedIn, as you may or may not know, is the world's largest professional networking site. It's kind of like Facebook for businesses, but much, much better. Okay. There's not a lot of politics. There's not a lot of religion. There's not a lot of, uh, false information and disinformation and political crap on there. So it's more business oriented. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you definitely got to get on LinkedIn, but you want to set up both your LinkedIn personal profile and optimize that for your business. And you also want to set up your business profile, right? So both of those you want to set up. And here's why. Because once again, number one, you're going to want to use LinkedIn to find and connect and engage with your prospects. So you got to have a profile to do that. Secondly, if a prospect that you're talking to or a prospect that found your website, in some way, shape, or form, goes onto LinkedIn and searches for you, and you personally don't exist, and or your business does not exist on LinkedIn, that's another huge red flag. And it is going to, again, derail your efforts, and it is not going to promote trust. So you have to have, number one, a website. Number two, your personal and business profile on LinkedIn. Okay. So that's number two tip. All right. These are two must-haves. All right. Number three, you need to start creating content. Now, let me explain to you what I mean. Content, as you probably know, is what I'm doing right now. I am shooting a live video. So video is a form of content marketing. Text, like blog posts, are a form of marketing. Podcast is an audio form of marketing, right? Memes are a form, images and memes are a form of marketing, right? So you use different channels, right? Different digital channels to promote content, whether that be your blog, whether that be YouTube, whether that be LinkedIn, whether that be, the search engines, whatever the case may be, you're using content to attract your audience, start a conversation, build trust, and generate leads. So you have to start creating content. My suggestion to you is, again, the places where you want to start creating content, one is on your own blog, right? You have a website. We've already determined that. Set up a blog and start creating some textual content that's relevant so that when people come to your website, they build trust because they believe that you are an expert and you understand and know what you're doing. Okay. Number two, LinkedIn. That's another great place to post content, whether that be text content, video, images, whatever the case may be. LinkedIn is another great place because of the B2B environment. There's a lot of prospects and a lot of potential shippers on LinkedIn. Number three, podcast. That's audio. And number four, possibly YouTube or other video that you can create. So creating content. The entire purpose of creating content online is to build trust. Well, first, create awareness that you exist and build trust at scale. Okay? So rather than building trust one-to-one, we're now building trust one-to-many. So if I put a LinkedIn post up and it gets 2 or 3 or 5 or 10,000 views, some of those are going to be my target market. Some of the message and content is going to resonate with that target market, and some of it's going to not resonate with other people. I don't care about the people that it doesn't fit. I care about the handful of people that do and are interested in what I've provided. That helps to enhance that relationship. The same thing goes for YouTube videos. The same thing goes for these lives. The same thing goes for text-based content, right? So you absolutely positively need to start creating some form of content. Now, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. My suggestion is just pick one of those types of content and one channel and get started, and then build it from there. Okay. So that is number three. Number four. Now, listen, I decided to offer a bonus tip. So this is number four, but I want you to stick around because I have a bonus tip that you definitely are not going to want to miss. This is one that not a lot of people talk about or even really understand, right? So number four is, don't forget to collect email addresses from the people that visit your website and enjoy your different content as a way to communicate with them after the content. So for example, someone lands on a blog post, they click on a link that can download a free resource that then goes to your email service provider, and then you will have the ability to email them week after week, month after month, until you've built enough trust that they're ready to buy from you, okay? Or ready to talk to you, whatever the case may be. So that's one example. You can do the same thing on YouTube. You can do the same thing on LinkedIn, right? So creating content is the bridge between someone not knowing you at all to getting to know you, to building enough trust that they will then give you their email, which they now have become a lead. Now, you don't necessarily have their phone number. You may or may not, but ultimately you have the ability to communicate with them. They've opted in to receive additional information from you. I can't tell you how important and powerful email marketing is as a follow-up tool. And I'm not talking about one-to-one. I have an email list. I think my email list is like 70,000 people. Okay. I've got over 70,000 people right now that have opted in to receive ongoing information from me. You might be one of them watching this video. So ultimately, I have the ability with the press of a button that I can touch all 70,000 of those people with an email very cost effectively, unlike most people that are freight brokers who would have to try to do that one-to-one and don't even have permission because now it's a cold email. So I don't want to go into too much depth here, but I can't stress the importance enough of building your own opt-in email list. Okay. All right. So that's number 4. Here's the bonus tip. Bonus tip number 5. Bonus tip number 5 is build a community of people that are in your target market. So you can use tools like Facebook or LinkedIn groups. There's a group feature built into Facebook and LinkedIn. There are other standalone community type products like Skool, which is Skool, which is something that I may be using in the near future for my community. But you can use Facebook groups, you can use LinkedIn groups, you can use tools like Skool or other, but you want to build a community around your target market, so this is not you going out and building a community of freight brokers or freight agents. This is you going out and building a community of whoever your target market is. Let me give you an example. So if your niche is the produce industry, right? And you're doing growers and buyers and retailers and sellers and wholesalers of produce, if that's your target market that you're selling to, you could build an entire community of those people that are now collaborating and coming together to help one another within that group. So birds of a feather flock together, right? So people that are in the produce industry who have challenges and issues are going to have a tendency to trust people that are also in their industry with strategies, tactics, tools, advice, resources. Okay. So that's where that community comes in. And if you become the steward of that community and you're in the produce industry, you're like the conductor of the band, right? So you have access and influence to that community. Imagine being in the produce niche and having 1,000 produce buyers and sellers in that community that know who you are, that you've built enough trust with. You can have a digital conversation, and through messaging, you might be able to get them on the phone. You're going to be able to put content in front of them. You're going to be able to build trust, build a relationship, that know, like, and trust, which is so important before anybody's willing to buy. Okay. So those are the 5 really quick. Number 1, create a website. You got to have a website. Number 2, create your personal and LinkedIn profile. Number 3, start creating content, whether that's video, text, audio, images, whatever it is. Number 4, don't forget to collect email addresses and get opt-in emails so you can communicate after the content. And then number 5 in the bonus was, once again, build a community, become a steward and builder of that community that your niche is, that's involved with your niche. And you will be absolutely shocked how far you can go and how fast. So if you guys are curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent and you need some help, you're struggling, maybe you're trying to get some misinformation from Google and different places like TikTok or YouTube, whatever it is, and you're looking for an all-in-one system to walk you A to Z through the entire step, the entire process, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We've trained over 10,000 students. That I started my brokerage in 2003, did over $200 million in sales. I've had Freight Broker Bootcamp since 2009. Again, we've trained over 10,000 students, and we offer a 60-day 100% unconditional money back guarantee. If for any reason you're not happy, I can't make it much easier than that. You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for coming along on the ride. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I have a question for you, okay? And I'm going to need you to hit me up in the comments really quick. I need some feedback. All right? Would you guys like more marketing related trainings like this, where we talk more about marketing versus just startup, freight broker startup, or freight broker sales, or, things like, rating and dispatching? Those are all great things. And I got tons of videos around those. But what I want to know is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning not interested at all, 10 meaning, hey, I'd be highly interested in that, would you like me to create more freight broker marketing related content? Hit me up in the comments and let me know if marketing related content is something that you guys would be interested in. If you are, I'll do more. If you're not, I won't, okay? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time, including my own, right? So if you guys would be interested in more freight broker marketing related content, hit me up in the comments, whether that be on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you're at. I'd love to hear from you. I truly appreciate the feedback. It's important. And if not, that's totally cool. If you're a 1 out of 10, let me know. I want to know that. I want to know. I can take that. Trust me, I got very thick skin. You're not going to offend me. Okay. Okay. So, all right, cool. So give me the feedback. Appreciate that. Getting a lot of great feedback. Thank you so much. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, cool. Awesome. All right, good. Thank you for the feedback. All right, so let's do a quick giveaway. All right, we're not going to do a t-shirt today because I don't have the Freightpreneur t-shirt on, so it just doesn't even seem right. So why don't we give away a little bit of cash? All right, let's give away a little bit of cash. Let's give away a $50 cash prize. Not a lot of money, but it'll help. Maybe it'll fill up your gas tank halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way, depending upon your vehicle. So let's give away $50 cash. Here's all you got to do in order to qualify. I'm going to give $50 away to one lucky user. You can be anywhere in the world. You just have to have a PayPal account. If you have a PayPal account, I'll PayPal you the money within 24 to 48 hours after receiving, confirmation from you. So here's all you got to do in order to qualify for the $50. Pull out your smartphone, whether that be Apple, Android, whatever. Go to your favorite podcast app. If you're on Apple, go to the Apple Podcast app. Search for Freight Broker Bootcamp, and you will see, again, my bald, shiny head and the Freight Broker Bootcamp logo, okay? I need you to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, okay? Rate, review, subscribe. Sometimes it says follow, okay? Rate, review, and subscribe. Come back into the comments. Let me know that you rate, reviewed, and subscribed, and you'll be entered as possibility to win the $50 cash prize. If you're on Spotify, same thing. Rate, review, and subscribe. Wherever you're at, rate, review, and subscribe. Come back in and let me know. But you have to type in the comments, rate, reviewed, subscribed. You did all three, and the platform that you did it on. Spotify, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon, Apple, wherever you're doing it. This is an honor system. So just, take 60 seconds, go and do it, come back in, and you get a chance to win $50. Now, if 10 people do this, you got a 1 in 10 chance of winning $50. You're not going to have that for the rest of the day. I promise you that. If 20, it's 1 in 20. It's still very good odds, but ultimately the only thing you got to do is rate, review, and subscribe. Come back in and let me know. And the Facebook user, whoever said rate, reviewed, and subscribed on Apple, I can't see your name because you didn't accept the name, right? When you log in through StreamYard, you have to let people know that what your name is, and you didn't do that, but you still qualify, although it's going to be very hard for me to determine who you are and call out a winner. So if I land on you, I'm not sure what we're going to do. So if you want to be a part of these, you have to allow your name to be shown in the comments. And unfortunately, you didn't allow that. Okay. So let's see what's happening here. So we've got Blakely Friend has done it. We've got Alexis Bailey. All right, cool. So we got a bunch of people doing it. Awesome. let's give it another minute or two. And then for this podcast giveaway, we're going to give away $50. And then we're going to go into Q&A. Okay. So we'll jump into Q&A, but you need to hold your questions. Do not type your questions in the chat box because they're going to get lost in the feed and then I won't be able to answer them. Okay. So hold your questions until I let you know that we're going to start the Q&A, and then I'll do my best to try to get to everybody's question. Okay. Noah, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple. Awesome. All right. Tia Bird, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple. I would say that probably about 95% of the people that listen to my podcast listen on Apple or Spotify. Okay. Either one of those are very popular, very easy to use. The cool thing about the podcast is it's absolutely free. You can listen to it when you're driving, when you're walking your dog, when you're on the treadmill working out, whatever you're doing, you can listen to it. It's audio. It's the best audio trainings that I've done in over a decade. Okay. So that's my repository for all my audio trainings. And again, sometimes it's just not convenient to watch video, right? So audio works really, really well. We've been very fortunate, been ranked in the top 100 out of all Apple podcasts in the entrepreneur category. So we're very blessed with that. Got hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews. And I owe that to you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. We get thousands and thousands of downloads to the podcast on a regular basis. So thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, I'm on Spotify too. All right. One more minute and then we're going to jump in. I don't know what this is, but yeah. All right. So we got a bunch of people that have rate, reviewed, and subscribed. You got about 30 seconds, and then we're going to pick one winner for the $50, and then we're going to go into the Q&A. So hold tight for the Q&A. If you guys have questions, you need some help, I don't care what the questions are about. They can be about sales. They can be about marketing. They can be about operations. They can be about startup, whatever the case may be. Okay. I'll do my best. They can be about LinkedIn, whatever. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. Let's pick a winner. I'm going to randomly select one winner, and then that winner is going to get the $50. So the winner is Alexis Bailey. Rate, reviewed, and subscribed on Apple Podcast. Alexis, congratulations. You are now $50 richer. Here's all you got to do to collect your prize. So on LinkedIn, you can message me direct. My LinkedIn handle is Ask Dennis Brown. Okay, so you go to linkedin.com/IN/Ask Dennis Brown. You can message me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my Facebook group, Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page, not group, my Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page. Like the page and then message me, but you need to send me your full name, your PayPal email so I can send you the payment, and you need to let me know that you won the $50 podcast subscribe giveaway. Okay. If you let me know that, I'll shoot you off the $50. Appreciate you guys playing along. Congratulations, Alexis. Maybe we'll do some more of these cash giveaways. I usually give away a shirt. I usually give away a shirt or two almost every single week. I thought I'd break it up today, especially considering I didn't have my Freightpreneur t-shirt on. But thank you for playing along, everybody. And Alexis, you can message me on LinkedIn or on my Freight Broker Bootcamp Facebook page and let me know that you won, and I'll send that off to you. Appreciate you guys playing along. All right, cool. If you got questions, hit me up in the comments. I'm going to start fielding questions right now. So type in the comments and let me know that, can you please post a link on this video so I can start getting paid? I think I should get paid too. Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway. All right, cool. So questions. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk more about startups in future trainings. Okay. So what do we got? Questions. All right. Questions. All right, guys, hit me up with questions in the comments. If you guys don't have questions, that's awesome. We'll close out. You guys can catch the replay. If you're just catching this on replay now, hit me up in the comments with hashtag replay. I love to hear from my replay folks. If you don't have questions, great. We'll close out today. You guys can go on your way and get to work building your business. Please be specific with your questions. BB&D Brokerage, I need to know more about port container pickups. You need to be more specific. That's too generic. What do you need? What specifically do you need to know? Okay. I think this is Rico posting this. Rico, we can talk about this offline. Okay. This is not the time or the place. We can talk about it offline. Blakely, thank you for the question. How have you been? I've been great. Spring and summer is moving along. We're starting to get some decent weather and I'm enjoying it. The family's enjoying it. Got a lot of plans for this summer. Big trip to Greece. We're going to Greece for a couple of weeks. So yeah. So thank you so much for asking. Appreciate it. Okay, Alexis says, I went on DATBoard and it shows about 2.87 for my area, just trying to figure out how it works. 2.87 what, dear? You got to be more specific. I'm not sure what specifically, what analytics or what data you're tracking. I'm not really sure. You got to be a little bit more specific. DAT will have DAT will have specific training on how to use their software because their software changes all the time, just so you guys know. That's why I don't do specific trainings on TruckStop and the DAT because they do trainings on them. They have all the information, right? They're the best source of information for training on that. So I'm sorry, Alexis, I'm probably not going to be able to handle that unless I have more information, some very specific information. Can you give me some advice on how to write good salesy messages via email for sending it to the new potential leads? Okay. Well, some of that depends. Number one, I don't like to send salesy emails. Okay. So if they're very salesy emails, typically prospects are going to not like that. So emails, depending upon how they're originating, okay, if they are originating from content marketing like we talked about today, then you need to be a much softer sell and focus exclusively on providing value with your expertise and your knowledge, okay? So if they're coming as an inbound lead, you need to be very soft. If you are starting to create conversations on LinkedIn, you need to be very soft and not salesy, okay? You need to focus on the prospect, not yourself. It's about them. It's not about you, okay? So if they're in the produce market, if they're in the steel market, if they're in whatever market, depending upon how you connected with them, you want to provide them valuable information. You don't want to be that person that comes in and tries to beat them over the head with your pitch. That's not what you want. Okay. So sending out mass emails that are spammy and salesy is not what you're trying to do. You want to be very, you want to take your time. You want to build that relationship because here, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. And it's very easy to spoil that impression if you press too hard with a salesy email or a salesy LinkedIn message. So I hope that helps a little bit. I'm not sure if it's going to answer all your questions, but hopefully it gets you going in the right direction. Okay, so Mike asks, I have a few rail yards near me. Where do I locate the forwarders to move said freight? Okay, well, here's the thing. You're talking about rail intermodal, I'm assuming. So you want to do intermodal rail. So it may or may not be freight forwarders that are your target market when it comes to rail. Definitely international freight forwarders when it comes to container freight, right? That's coming in the ports, right? Because those are coming off ocean, going on or coming off ocean vessels. And international freight forwarders control a lot of that, right? So in regards to rail freight, typically if you have a rail siding or a rail spur or a rail yard near you, The shippers that are going to be specific to that are going to be within 100 miles or so of that rail terminal, because all of the advantage of rail freight is gained on the rail component. So they can't run a truck hundreds of miles to get to the rail and still make it cost effective. So typically the pickup locations for rail freight are going to be pretty close to that rail yard, within 50, maybe 100 miles, but typically pretty close. Okay. And that's what gives them, so they don't have to run it a long way on the truck. They can run the long haul on the rail. So let's say, for example, you have a load from Buffalo, New York to LA. Okay. So if I picked it up in Rochester, which is maybe, let's call it 60, 80 miles away, depending on where you're at. And then we trucked it to the rail yard, and then it got loaded onto the train. And then it went from Buffalo to LA on the train. And then it offloaded on the train, from the train onto a truck. And then let's say it went to somewhere within 50 or 100 miles of LA. That's an efficient and effective and cost-effective way to move freight. But if you had to move the truck from Syracuse to Buffalo, you're going to lose all of your economic benefit, because that trucking component is going to be too expensive. And now all of a sudden you might be able to run a full truckload cheaper than you can run the rail. Okay. So I hope that helps. But you're going to be looking for leads that are local, within 50 to 100 miles. And I would do some research on the types of commodities that are manufacturers distributed in your area, from especially those that are conducive to rail. Okay, Alexis, sorry, could you explain load to ratio numbers for flatbed? Just trying to apply it. Okay, so good question. Thank you for clarifying, Alexa, and congrats on the $50. All right, so load to truck ratio. When you go to a load board, you are going to see, so for example, if you are in the Buffalo market, which is where I'm going to choose that example, and you're going to look at an overall load to truck ratio in and out of Buffalo, you're going to see the number of trucks that are posted in ratio to the number of loads that are posted. So now let me tell you why that's important and how you can use that. If there are more loads than there are trucks, then that means it's going to be a lot more competition for those trucks, which is going to drive rates up. If there are more trucks than there are loads, then there's going to be more competition for those loads. And so that's going to drive price down. Okay. If you have more of a 1-to-1 truck ratio, then that's kind of a homeostasis, right? That means there's an equivalent. So there will be demand, but it will not drive the price up. Now, load to truck ratio, it's the basic economic principle of supply and demand, right? So if your supply outweighs your demand, then your price goes down. If your demand outweighs your supply, then your price goes up. So that's the understanding that you can get from load to truck ratio. Right now, most markets, like let's say a year or two ago, there were a lot more loads than there were trucks. And therefore that drove rates up, and it was very hard to find trucks. Now rates have come down because there's more trucks than there are loads. So now it's easier to cover loads and find trucks, but the rates are lower. So that's the dynamic that that load to truck ratio can help you to understand. Good question. Thank you. Okay, here's a question from Jonathan. In current times, can you please explain what you do as a freight broker on your first day after getting your broker license? Going off, no experience, just videos and freight broker bootcamp training. Okay, cool. All right, so number one, on my YouTube channel, I have a video about basically a day in the life of a freight broker. So if you go to my YouTube channel, it will share with you the daily activities that go on for a freight broker. Okay. It'll give you kind of a sense as to what the day is like and about and what it involves. Okay. So that might be helpful to some of you. Day one after getting your freight broker authority, depending upon how much research and due diligence you've done on your target market and rating and load to truck ratio and basic things around your target market and pricing, depending upon how much of that you've done already, assuming you've done none of it, you're definitely going to want to get set up with a load board so you can get access to some of that data, whether that be DAT or truck stop. Okay. You definitely want to check that out. Because you'll need your broker authority in order to do that, or if you're an agent, you'll use the broker authority of whoever you're working under to get those set up those access to load boards. So you want to get access to the load boards. You want to identify your target market, meaning you want to figure out what your target market is, what your niche is. Am I going to approach the produce industry, the steel industry? Am I going to do import-export containers? Am I going to do, more van related? Is it going to be more geographical related? I teach you on the channel how to set up your freight broker niche or how to identify your freight broker niche. You can check that out on my YouTube channel. There's 4 options. There's 4 different ways you can do that. So I would suggest you do that. So you're going to set up that, figure out your freight broker niche. Then you're going to need to compile a list of potential prospects. If you're part of Freight Broker Bootcamp, you have a shipper directory you can use. If not, you can go to things like ThomasNet. There's other online directories. You can buy lead databases, but you're going to want to compile a list of people in your niche. And then from there, you're going to start doing outreach. Most new freight brokers use the phone, email, or LinkedIn to do outreach. If it is local to you and it's within driving distance, a reasonable driving distance local, let's say 20, 30, 40 miles of you, you may want to do face-to-face. And at that point, you may want to go knock on some doors, jump on some shipping docks and see if you can introduce yourself and start a conversation. So those are the 4 primary ways: phone, email, LinkedIn, or face-to-face. That's how you connect with your prospects, right? This is where the sales process kicks in. In addition, like I said to you before, day one, depending, you're probably going to want to have your website set up already. You're going to want to have your LinkedIn personal and business page set up, right? So those are a few more things. So I think those would be some of the first things you would do, either in preparation of getting your authority and or after you've got your freight broker authority. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a short list of important activities to get started with. Thanks, Jonathan. All right, I'm scrolling through here. Okay, so RamFam Logistics says, when I'm trying to find a carrier and I check his MC number and it says broker and carrier, should I still work with him or skip them because he is also a broker and might try to cut my throat? Okay, well, here's the thing. More and more carriers are getting their broker authority, and it's smart for them to do that because if they have 5 trucks, they can only move 5 loads at a time. If they have 5 trucks and they get their broker authority, they can move unlimited number of loads because they can move 5 on their trucks and they can broker the rest. So it's not a bad thing that carriers have their broker authority if they do it right. So you raise a good question, an interesting question, in that, can you trust a carrier who has their broker authority? Well, you can trust a carrier that has their broker authority pretty much the same as you can trust a carrier if they're not trustworthy. So if they're a carrier or a carrier broker and they're not trustworthy, they're the same. So whether they have both authorities or not, it shouldn't make a huge difference, because the reality is, if somebody's going to do something unethical or illegal, they're going to do it whether they have the authority or not. Fact is, in my experience, the handful of times over the course of my career that we had double brokering situations, they were just carriers. They weren't brokers. They were just straight carriers. So I don't think excluding broker carriers is going to solve the problem. Now, I did do an entire training on my YouTube channel on how to avoid double brokering. And that wasn't one of the tips. Mileage may vary, but I would suggest you check that out. That will help you how to avoid double brokering, how to avoid getting scammed in double brokering. I walk through a kind of a framework on how you can protect yourself. Okay. So I think that'd be really helpful to you. So hope that helps, RamFam. All right, cool. So Titan Brothers asks, what is the best TMS? Well, that's a really hard question to answer, but I can tell you the one that I recommend to my freight broker startups is one that I have a personal relationship with the CEO. I know him extremely well. I know he's extremely reputable. I know he's very innovative. They're one of the largest and most successful TMSs out there for small to medium-sized brokerages. And you could check it out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS. It's Ascend TMS. If you go to that link, you'll get a special deal. All you have to do when you sign up for free, you don't have to put a credit card in, but you got to use the coupon code FBBC. If you use FBBC in the coupon code, you don't need a credit card. You can get a free trial without a credit card. We set that up so that you guys could do that with no pain, no fear. Okay. You just got to make sure you use the coupon code FBBC. They are a preferred vendor, okay, within the Freight Broker Bootcamp community. Tim Hyam is the CEO. I've known him for several years. Great guy. We had him on the show, did a great interview. And, I stay in communication with him. I would highly recommend you guys check him out. You can check him out personally. He posts some great content on LinkedIn. Tim Hyam, Higham. But yeah, that's who I would recommend. Ascend TMS. They have a free version and then they have a paid version. You can use the free version as long as you want to get started, and then you can upgrade to a paid version if and when it makes sense. Okay. And you don't need a credit card in order to get started. So you can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/TMS. And then you just need to make sure you use the coupon code FBBC because they are a partnership. And yes, we do get an affiliate commission if you end up enrolling. And my commitment to you guys is we end up reinvesting that into the community, enhancing the community, building out the training, building out the product. It's not something I stick in my pocket. It's a small affiliate commission, and it does not cost you 1 penny more to do it through that link. So just being very transparent with you. Okay, so that's another good question. All right, I'm scrolling here. Let me look. What do I got? Give me a second. Okay, Sandra asks, I'm on an exhausting load list. It goes to 3 brokers and he goes with cheapest rate. I find myself scrambling to get trucks, then only make $50 on an occasional $150 profit. Should I let it go? Any advice? Okay. This is where you have to measure the ROI on your time. I am not a big believer in working off of load lists that go to multiple brokers. I'm definitely not a big believer in shippers that focus exclusively on price. So that's 2 strikes, okay? So for me, I probably wouldn't waste my time, but that's because I'm confident in replacing that shipper with a good shipper that's willing to pay me for my time and isn't focused exclusively on price. But where you are right now, depending upon where you are in startup phase, cash flow phase, an extra $50 or $150 might make a big deal to you. So here's what you do. You, for the next week, measure the amount of time and energy that you're spending trying to cover loads, okay, versus the payout. How many loads did you cover and how much profit? If you're not able to make a minimum of $50 an hour based on your time, I would not waste my time. Now, I would never work for that. But the fact is, that's kind of a minimum level. So measure the number of hours. Hey, I spent X number of hours posting these loads, talking to carriers, negotiating, and I only covered and generated X. Okay. So if you're not able to do that, make $50 to $100 an hour for your time. Don't waste your time. You're better off investing that time in finding new prospects. That would be my process. I hope that helps. Good luck, Sandra. Keep us posted, please. All right. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, listen, we're going to wrap it up a little bit early today. Thank you guys so much for the great questions. Thank you for attending. I hope you guys enjoyed the training about freight broker marketing tips. Based on the feedback, I will provide some more training in and around that genre, that topic. I think it's valuable for you guys. If you're not yet subscribed to me on LinkedIn, make sure you subscribe, hit the all notification bell. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, make sure you click the bell on my profile so that you guys get notified whenever I post anything on LinkedIn. And I appreciate you guys being here. If you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. trained over 10,000 students, the most comprehensive and cost-effective online freight broker training program. And we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. You just message us and we'll send your money back. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. And we'll see you next week with another Freight Broker Bootcamp Live. Thanks all.